Welcome back, Modified Crew. I am your daily driver, Mark Herman, and today I'm broke. And what do broke people do when they gotta pull a frame and don't have a frame puller or can't afford one? We use a pickup truck, and that's what I'm gonna do. And we're getting started right now. All right, guys, so what we're gonna do today is we're gonna go and start taking measurements. We don't have a high-end frame puller or anything, so what we're gonna do is kind of measure everything out, kind of square it up. We have gapping here, but that's because the hood is kind of bent. So realistically, what I'm looking at is where the hood meets the frame, it looks like it's pushed in more on this side, and that's where it was hit. So realistically, we need to pull this side out a little bit. We're gonna go ahead and reinstall the reinforcement bar, the crash bar in the front, and then probably pull that out just a bit. So we're gonna take some measurements just to kind of get a rough idea how much we need to pull it out and if the hood is a true representation of the squareness of the car, and then we'll just go at it. So let's go ahead and get to it. All right, guys, after measuring it, this part right here is pushed in about 1/4 to 1/2 of an inch. Doesn't sound like a lot, but when you add the body lines, it's gonna throw it off. Now, we made sure that, you know, there wasn't any suspension damage when we inspected this car, so that's good. But yeah, so we're gonna need to pull this part out here. Frame rails look fine, so it just seems like it's just these pieces right here. And the headlight was cracked too, and you can tell that it was kind of impacted right there. So we're just gonna pull it out just a little bit. Gonna strap the truck to this part right here and pull on it, and then dependent upon the reinforcement bar measurements, after that's reinstalled, we might do the same there. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, guys, we got the reinforcement bar installed onto the car. We can see it is pushed back a little bit. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is use our trusty frame puller, AKA my truck. We're gonna tie it up to the chains and see if we can pull it out and get the frame as straight as possible. Mind you, frame pullers are expensive, and paying somebody to do it's very expensive. And this is a budget build, so we're trying to cut costs anywhere we can and do it as right as possible. Are we gonna get perfect results? Probably not. But are we gonna get close? That's what we're gonna find out, and that's what we're gonna do today. So with further ado, let's go and get that frame pulled. All right, guys, I believe that worked out pretty good. Yes, I know this is a very rugged way of going about it, but we did get it pulled out. I'm pretty happy with it so far. We won't know until we get the panels on. The crash bar, however, is too damaged. We got it straightened out, but it's compressed right here, like it's pinched. So if I wanted to spend more, I could, for safety reasons, I could buy another one. I'm just gonna wait until we get a good deal on one instead of just overspending on something on eBay or buying a brand new one. So overall, I would say this is a success. Mind you, you are gonna get some pinching of metal. Obviously, this got, this is where the chain was at. And so, I did put a rag there to prevent marring of the paint. So what I would do afterwards is I'm just gonna go ahead and bend this back. But these are the things you can expect when you're going at it with such a primitive way of trying to straighten the frame out. overall, I believe everything came out square, so I'm happy with that. But I just wanted to, yeah, I can't stress how important it is that when you're going about it, you know, this way, there are other things that you're sacrificing. So if I wanted to, now I could just buy a new piece right here. I guess an upper radiator support or core support, something like that. Which wouldn't be too expensive, but at least we got the frame straightened out. And we'll just go ahead and start, I believe next we're gonna go ahead and tackle the fenders. We just hung them, but I'm gonna get them dialed in, get them straightened out, get the body lines all cleaned up, and then probably do like the plastics underneath, like the wheel well and guards like that. So we'll go and get to that next. Guys, just a helpful hint, when reinstalling things that you're not sure how they've been, when you're lining up body panels, typically you want to aim for, there's going to be a little paint mark, and that's where the bolt was when it was painted, right? So when you install the bolts and want to line it up, you want to make sure your panel's lined up with these bolts, because realistically that's the way that worked best when it was assembled at the factory, and that tells you that you're on the right path when you're getting everything lined up. Another helpful trick is when you're installing wiring harnesses, typically they follow a path. So they'll naturally want to curve a certain way because they've been that way for years if it's, you know, been a couple-year-old vehicle. But if you don't know where things go, just start looking, just follow the trail, right? And then you'll see either something to attach it, and you'll see a hole somewhere around there in the proximity, and then you'll see something to connect it. And usually, more often than not, the connectors are designed not to be able to plug into each other. So this one wouldn't be able to plug into this one and things like that. And then, you know, obviously this one would probably go for the headlight and stuff like that. So that's how you would run a wiring harness if you've never done it before. So those little tricks like that help you go a long way. Guys, got the fender installed. I still need to do the plastic trimming, but the body lines are looking fantastic, looking great. I'm very happy with that. Usually I would use the hood to square it up, but since the hood isn't perfect, it's going to be a bad reference point. All right, another pointer, when installing just about anything, you want to go ahead and install all the bolts by hand. That way you have it all in place before you start tightening it down. Because let's say you tighten this one down and then this one isn't going to line up, you're going to have to go back to this one, loosen it, and when you could have just started them all by hand. So it's always best to start all the bolts by hand, then tighten them down once you got everything lined up where you want it. All right guys, that's going to be a wrap for today's episode. Basically, we got the frame pulled. I'm very happy with the results. We will see how square everything's going to be after we get the hood straightened out, or the hood situation, but everything's looking great. After pulling it with a truck, it exceeded my expectations. I've actually done it multiple times before, so I kind of had a rough idea of what to expect, so it wasn't just going into it blind like the first time I've done it. But super happy with today's results. If you like what we're doing on the channel, feel free to subscribe. If you already have subscribed and still like what we're doing, please give me a thumbs up. It really helps the channel out. I appreciate it, you guys, and I will see you on the next one.
go.